What's up, y'all? I'm gonna make a video while I'm driving, so I'm gonna talk about comparing, like, we're gonna compare FI to FE. So basically, the main difference between FI and FE is, I'm in traffic. But anyways, what I've noticed with FI and FE, in my experience from observation and from, I have a ton of experience with FI users. I told you I like FI users, tend to like FI users a lot more than FE users, but it's not that much of a, it really just depends on the person. Like, if you cool, or we can get along for many reasons, you know what I'm saying? But what I've noticed with FI and FE, the most simplest way to tell the difference between the two, or to say the main difference between the two is, we look at like the concept of sympathy versus empathy. FI users are more empathetic than FE users. FE users are more sympathetic. So what does that mean? It means that, okay, like, to have sympathy for somebody means that you feel sorry for them, but it does not necessarily mean that you actually know how they feel. It just means that you wish that it didn't happen to them. Having empathy, on the other hand, it means that you understand how they feel, and you can feel what they feel, and you know how it feels. You know what I'm saying? FI users are better at knowing how somebody feels and empathizing. FE users are better at just sympathizing. And FE users are better at taking care of people and making sure everyone's taken care of and stuff like that. But they're not necessarily as good as empathizing. Like, they won't empathize with you unless they have experienced it themselves, mainly. You know what I'm saying? Even for myself, I'm a FE user myself. Like, I have low FE, right? So it's a little different, but it's the same way for me. Like, I don't empathize with people. Well, I don't know. I have low FE, so I don't sympathize with people that much. I actually have a lot of I feel like I have a lot more empathy than sympathy, actually. But I feel like my empathy, the reason why I have empathy is because I don't think it has anything to do with type. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just something outside of type, reason why I'm an empathetic person. Like, I care about people, and for the thing with me, empathy hits me at large waves. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get large waves of empathy. Like, I'll like randomly, it's like my FE overpowers me sometimes, and I feel highly empathetic. You know what I'm saying? I empathize with somebody very deeply. Well, I wouldn't say deeply, but I will feel real sorry for them. But sorry about that, my phone fell. But it'll be most of the thing with empathy. You know what I'm saying? I don't sympathize with people though, so it's like it's a little different than FI though. FI, they sympathize with people and they have empathy, but they're more on the spectrum of empathy. You know what I'm saying? FE users empathize with people and they sympathize, but they're more on the spectrum of sympathy. You know what I'm saying? They'll feel sorry for you. They'll try to make up for it and all that. FI users are more like, I know how you feel. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so let me go back into like how that applies to me. Like, I actually am very empathetic. I'm not a very sympathetic person. Like, I look at it logically and I say, okay, I understand how you feel, but I'm thinking logically, like, can I do anything about this? If I can't do nothing about it, then it's like, okay, I'm not gonna sympathize with you. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, I don't sympathize with somebody if, like, say if you got yourself in a situation and it was like you kind of had it coming. You know what I'm saying? Then I won't sympathize with you. It's very easy for me not to sympathize with you. Whereas, like, some fellas would sympathize with you and still feel sorry for you and give you a billion chances. You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm not gonna sympathize with you in that sense. But I will empathize. I still have empathy for you. Like, I understand how you feel, and I'm like, dang, that's messed up. You know what I'm saying? But I can't sympathize with you. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it as an istp. So really, I think people with a lot of sympathy, that are more sympathy oriented, I think they just simply have an abundance of FE. You know what I'm saying? Versus, like, because I'm in that aspect, I'm similar to FI users. You know what I'm saying? FI users, I think they empathize more than I do. Like, if I have a friend that's an FI user, or if I'm dating somebody that's an FI user, they'll be able to they usually tend to open my eyes to like how the other person is probably feeling in more ways. I mean, I told you I'm good at reading people, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to emotions, I'm not so good with like, I know how you feel, but I won't necessarily know like what to say to make you feel better sometimes. Like, I know what to do to make, like, I know what you should do to make yourself feel better. I can tell you what you should do, but I don't know what to tell you. I won't know how to fix it myself. Like, I won't know how to tell you. I won't have any words to tell you. I'll be able to tell you like what you can do to make yourself feel better or to fix your problem. You know what I'm saying? So, and that aspect is different. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, just a thought, man. Just a way to look at FE and FI. Like, I have my own typing method I told y'all about called the cancel out method, where you look at the most obvious thing that sticks out to you and you go from there. So like, this can help with that, because if you figure out somebody is a FE or FI user, you cancel out pretty much half of the process. If you're sure about it, you have to make sure you're sure about it. You have to really zone in on that one little aspect and make sure you're 100% sure for this to work though. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like, okay, I kind of think this, and then I'm talking about like if you can zone in on one little aspect of them, whether it be a type, whether it be a temperament, whether it be a function, whether it be an axis, whatever, one little thing, or even if it's a letter, that helps a lot. It pretty much cancels out half the process. If y'all don't know what that is, I'll put a link in the description about the cancel out method, typing method. But yeah, empathy versus sympathy. I like to, and my own way of describing it is, if you users are highly sympathetic, but they don't have quite as much empathy, like they can feel sorry for you without actually understanding 100%. You know what I'm saying? If I use, on the other hand, of highly empathetic, but they're not as sympathetic. Like, they may not, because for FI users, it's more about their own emotions first. You know what I'm saying? They care about how other people feel. Healthy ones care about how other people feel, but their emotions come first. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's all I got about that. Thanks for watching.